Have you ever wondered what really goes on behind the closed doors of the world's most powerful people? I mean, the stuff they do when the cameras are totally off? Well, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a completely objective, analytical look at the personal habits, the hidden histories, and the intense daily routines of Narendra Modi, the 14th Prime Minister of India. Look, whether you follow global politics religiously or you're just kind of fascinated about how highly influential people structure their lives, there is so much we can learn when we break down the day-to-day reality of someone operating on that kind of massive global stage. So, what actually reveals a leader's true persona? Right? Is it the massive packed rallies, the carefully crafted political speeches, or maybe the grand international summits? Honestly, if you really want to understand what makes a person tick, you've got to look way past that polished political surface. You have to look at the quiet moments, the daily disciplines, the hidden struggles of their youth, the books they crack open in private, and the food they eat when nobody is watching. And that is exactly what we are going to explore today. Okay, let's dive right into this. Our agenda today covers 4 key areas. 1. The formative years and the Himalayas. 2. Diet and daily routine. 3. Books that shaped him. And 4. The signature style. All right, Section 1, the formative years and the Himalayas. You really can't fully understand any leader without looking at their roots. And here, we're tracing a journey from an incredibly modest background all the way to the highest levels of global leadership. I mean, picture this. At just 6 years old, Modi was selling tea at the Vadnagar railway station. It's a profound real-world lesson in grassroots survival and just pure hard work. Then, fast forward to his young adulthood. Instead of jumping straight into some traditional career path, he actually embarked on a 2-year journey roaming the Himalayas. And later on in adulthood, during a really politically turbulent period in India known as the Emergency, a recent book chronicles his daring underground role. He actually operated under the disguise of a sick gentleman, using the alias Swamji just to evade capture. These aren't just, historical footnotes. They are literally the crucible that forged his resilience. To really grasp the impact of that specific Himalayan journey, we can actually just look at his own words. He's noted that those 2 years spent wandering the mountains, quote, strengthened me, enabled me to discover inner power. Just imagine the mental fortitude you need to survive in that harsh, completely isolated environment. It was clearly a period of really deep introspection, and it became absolutely crucial to his personal and spiritual development, way, way before he ever held any political office. Moving right along to Section 2, diet and daily routine. So mental discipline forged in the mountains very often translates directly into physical discipline. And what's really wild is that these rigorous habits persist even today, as he approaches the age of 75. 3.5, that is the reported number of hours of sleep he operates on each night. 3.5 hours. While most doctors are practically begging us to get 7 to 8 hours, his routine is intensely compressed. And get this, he doesn't just wake up and lounge around. This minimal sleep is immediately paired with daily walks and a highly regimented schedule. It's a level of stamina that apparently leaves even his youngest aides seriously struggling to keep up with him. Now, here's another crazy metric for you. 300. According to reports, for at least 300 days a year, his diet consists of one specific, incredibly simple dish, mahana bale. If you're not familiar, mahana, or foxnuts, is this ancient Indian superfood. It's incredibly light, it's packed with protein and antioxidants, and it's super easy to digest. So he isn't out there indulging in heavy, lavish state banquets every day. Not at all. He relies on this simple, highly functional food for the vast majority of the year. So what does this all mean? The crucial takeaway here is that these statistics, the 3.5 hours of sleep, eating that same light food 300 days a year, they reflect a staggeringly rigorous and minimalist personal lifestyle. Think about it kind of like an elite athlete, right? Someone who eats purely for fuel, not for pleasure, and trains their body to operate at just maximum peak efficiency. This minimalism literally strips away daily distractions, allowing for absolute focus on his work. Okay, Section 3, books that shaped him. We've seen exactly how he fuels his body, but how does he fuel his mind? Despite a relentlessly demanding schedule, he's known to be an avid reader with a massive private library. And the texts he actually chooses to spend his limited free time on, they tell us a great deal about his overall worldview. The absolute bedrock of his intellectual and spiritual input is the ancient Indian scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. He draws several core life teachings from this. The philosophy of performing your duties without getting attached to the results. The practice of maintaining your inner peace amidst massive, chaotic external challenges. Surrendering to the divine. And, probably most importantly for a leader, the concept of selfless service to the nation. These aren't just abstract philosophical ideas for him. They act as the operating system for his daily decision-making. But hey, his reading isn't just restricted to ancient philosophy. He also finds a ton of inspiration in modern global literature. Take Paulo Coelho's famous novel, The Alchemist. A review of his reading habits noted that the book's central theme of following one's heart aligns perfectly with his vision for a progressive and self-reliant India. He actually connects a fictional story about a young shepherd chasing his personal legend to the very real universal themes of national self-discovery and chasing big dreams. It's a fascinating parallel. And his private library spans a really wide array of topics. As you can see here, titles range from The Insider by former Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao, which shows a clear interest in the mechanics of political power, to My Journey by Dr. A.P.J. Abdul Kalam, which focuses on transforming dreams into actions. He also reads Jyotirpunj, a book about Atal Bihari Vajpayee, alongside deep spiritual texts like The Journey Home by Radhanath Swami. It's this incredibly diverse mosaic of politics, science, biography, and spirituality. And finally, Section 4, the signature style. We've spent the last few minutes exploring the internal disciplines, right? The diet, the sleep, the spiritual reading. Now let's shift our focus to how those internal disciplines actually manifest externally. The most visible element is what has officially been dubbed the Modi kurta. It's a distinctive half-sleeve kurta, usually paired with a tailored jacket. But here's the thing. This wasn't cooked up by some high-end public relations firm. In his own words, this style was born purely out of practicality, from his days of traveling and literally having to wash his own clothes. The half-sleeves took up way less space in his bag and were just easier to scrub clean. So a habit born entirely out of minimalism and necessity evolved into this globally recognized fashion statement. But when we talk about his signature style, we can also look literally at his handwritten signature. Experts in graphology, which is handwriting analysis, at a platform called Right Choice have thoroughly analyzed his signature. They claim that the specific slants, the spacing, and the capitalization reveal up to 9 distinct hidden personality traits. Now, whether you buy into graphology or not, the mere fact that experts dedicate their time to deconstructing his pen strokes just shows how deeply the public wants to understand the man's underlying psychology. Conclusion: the man behind the title. So what we've done today is take these isolated puzzle pieces, a childhood selling tea, a Himalayan retreat, 3.5 hours of sleep, bowls of makhana, readings of the Gita, and a practical half-sleeve kurta, and we've put them all together. We get to view this thematic mosaic of a highly disciplined, intensely focused, and spiritually driven leader. To quickly recap, we saw how his early struggles built resilience, how his minimalist physical routine maximizes his focus, and how diverse reading shapes his worldview. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. How do the private habits of world leaders ultimately shape the public history they create? When a person is steering the fate of over 1 billion people, their ability to survive on minimal sleep, their moral compass derived from ancient books, and their rigorous daily disciplines, well, they aren't just private matters anymore, are they? They are the invisible forces shaping our world. Thank you for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next one.